Hey guys, I got in another pretty small, pretty affordable power station to share with you. I just wanted to show you kind of how it came boxed before I take everything out. There was actually another shipping box over top of this box, and there's actually another box inside of this box. It does look like it's upside down though. But I did want you to see kind of how it was shipped because it kind of says a lot about a company when they care enough to protect the product when it's being shipped. But what I have here is the S300 portable power station. The rest of the box is fairly plain. We do have some specifications right there, and we'll go over most of the stuff here later, but I'll get it out of the box and show you everything that's in it. And they had the power station protected inside that box with really thick, nice foam. So we obviously got the power station itself, got a user manual that come in a little baggie, and then like this storage bag here. We'll see what all is in it. So it looks like we have a wall charging cable. I'm pretty sure that you can charge this in your car, but there's not a cable included for that. You can charge this with a USB-C cable. Again, no other cable for that. And you can charge it with a solar panel. And then obviously that's not included. So I am going to say I'm a little bit bummed that they don't include the car charging cable for this. So before we get too far, I'll get you guys some unofficial measurements. So we're just over 8 inches in length. Our width is like maybe 4 1/4 or so. And height on it, not quite 7 with the little feet and stuff on there. So just shy of 7 inches. And a weight on it, 6 pounds, 12 ounces. So on the front of the unit, we have 2 AC outlets. We have 2 LED lights. The main display is up here. And then how you'll turn on your DC functions, the AC functions. And this does have Bluetooth, and that is the button there. We got wireless charging up on top. On this side, we have some DC plugs here, some USB-A, there's 3 of those, USB-C, some like cooling vents, nothing on the back at all, which I like that. I don't like things being back there. This side, we got a 12-volt like cigarette style plug, and then this is how we actually charge the power station itself. There's a barrel connector there, and that is an Anderson connection. Bottom of the unit just kind of has some of the specifications. So it's 288 watt hours. It can do 300 watts continuous with a 500 watt surge. It looks like you can only charge, well, on the USB-C, it can charge at 60 watts in, and then it can do 100 watts out. So like the bottom of the unit said, the AC outlets here, you can have a combined of 300 watts running continuous. You can't do 300 in this one and 300 in this one, so any other combination of 300 watts total, and then it can accept surges of 500 watts. These little side USB-As, those are 3 amps each, but again, a total of only 7.2 amps. So you cannot have 3 amps running in all 3 things, but most of your USB devices are really low draw anyways. The USB-C, that is a power delivery port, and you can have 100 watts going out. So you can charge MacBooks and other laptops and stuff like that. And then you can also charge the unit itself. So it's a in and out delivery port here, and it'll accept 60 watts coming in. And what I'm going to try here in a bit is charge it by the AC over here and the USB-C at the same time, and see if we can get like 100 plus watts going into it at once. The 5525 ports here, those are a max of 5 amps. And again, according to the bottom, the 12-volt car outlet is 10 amps. The manual does not say that though. The manual doesn't really talk about It almost says like there's 3 ports kind of sharing. I've seen other reports though that will test at 10 amps by itself, whereas these ones over here are at 5 amps. Some of the safety features on this is that is a pure sine wave inverter, that 300 watt inverter, 500 watt max. It does have like overcurrent and over voltage protection, overcharge, overload, short circuit overheating, all those types of built-in safety features. Another feature this one has is Bluetooth technology. I've actually never had a power station that has Bluetooth, but you can scan these apps right here and you don't have to register. You don't have to like sign up with usernames and passwords. Basically, the app will come up. It'll let you turn the unit on and off, control all the things. And I'll show you that here in a bit as well. So I actually reviewed another ALLPOWERS power station probably 5 months or so ago. And it arrived to me completely dead, completely depleted. And that's not good for lithium ion batteries to be stored, at 0% state of charge. So I'm going to try to power this on and we'll see if it arrived dead as well. And yeah, it appears that way. Hitting the buttons and nothing is happening. So we'll get it charged up, but I do not like that already. It definitely weakens the batteries. It can make it to where, like, instead of you getting 288 watt hours, which you're never going to get that anyways, they just protect the batteries. But like, it might only get 200 now, and we will test it out. We'll see what we get with it a few times. The other thing that can happen is, let's say these are supposed to last for, let's just say 2,000 life cycles. So you should be able to fully charge it, fully deplete it 2,000 times. Well, when they're stored with 0%, that's going to shorten that lifespan of the battery. So instead of 2,000, it might be 1,700. It's still a lot, but they should not be stored at 0%. Yeah, I just plugged it in and it's at 0%. You can see right there. We're up to about 50 watts. I'm going to get a USB-C cable and plug it into the side over here too. So it's been plugged in for a minute or so, and it's been hovering right around 50 to 55 watts or so. If this is 288 watt hours, that's going to take, close to 6 hours, 5.5 to 6 hours. So I'm going to plug a USB-C cable into this power delivery port here too. And we'll see if we can get some more wattage than that. You can see it's a nice jump already now. We should be like at least 110 or 120. So yeah, so this way here using both cables, this will only take like 2 hours, 2.5 hours to charge it back up. Here's something I kind of dislike a little bit. After so many minutes of it charging, the screen goes blank on it. We can see we're up to almost 20% now. But I wish that screen would just stay on while it's charging, so that way you can kind of keep an eye on things. While the power station's charging, we'll go ahead and get that app. And this is what the app looks like. And here in a bit, we'll go ahead and add that power station to it. So according to the manual, we just have to make sure that our phone or tablet or whatever, the Bluetooth is on. We're going to hold the Bluetooth button for a few seconds. And then once we open the app, the power station should be there. And I had the Bluetooth button on over there. Open up the app, and right there is the device. So now they're pairing or connecting. And you can see I'm at 34%. That says 34%. Charging at 117 watts, so all that stuff shows correctly. But we'll go over the app here in a little bit once it gets fully charged. All right, I'm going to see if the solar charging does in fact work. I just got a small little 80 watt panel out here. So if we can charge at 40 or 50 watts, that's still pretty decent for a panel this size. So this particular panel that I'm using, already comes with like one of these DC jacks here, but then it has a bunch more for various power stations. But I think just the one that's on the cable should work. So we'll plug that in. I don't know how well it'll even show up, but we're at 4950 watts right now charging. That's actually pretty decent because I think this thing will only charge at 60 watts as it is. So yeah, I'm getting 54 watts. Pretty decent off this panel. I mean, it's almost the same as charging off the wall. So yeah, we're right around 60 now. It's still climbing even. It's right around, it's almost 1 p.m. So yeah, we're sitting at 64 watts. That's really good. All right, so we are charged up to 100% now. And I figured we'd go over and show a few things that you can use these power stations for. But these are great for power outages. Maybe it's only going to be a few hours. You just need some lights and maybe a fan or something. They're great for people who live in apartments that cannot have gas generators. They're great to maybe take out on a boat. You can use these for tailgating. Maybe you want to set a projector, and a screen out in the middle of your yard. Literally, you can just plug the thing into here, and there's just so many uses for them. But we'll kind of quickly go through. I'll show you some of the things that I would use it for. We'll make sure that all of the ports and everything work fine. First up is I got this little table lamp here. I have a 60-watt bulb in it. If I were using this during a true like power outage emergency situation, I would use bulbs like these. These only draw 2.5 watts, and this thing would last probably like 2 or 3 weeks using small little LED bulbs like that. Or you could just simply use the LEDs that are actually built into the unit itself. But just for demonstration, I'm going to show you the lamp here. We have to turn the AC outlets on, and the inverter probably will kick on. So we got to hold it for 3 seconds. All right, just came on. I don't know if you can hear the fan running or not, but all right, and that light actually already came on. So as you can see there, and let's see what the display is showing. I know it's a 60-watt bulb. It should be at least 50 something. So yeah, it's showing 52 watts on that. And then I got a fan here. Plug the fan into the other AC outlet. And if the two outlets weren't enough for you, you could always put either like a multi-strip or like one of the three-way plugs or something like that here. Again, just make sure that you don't exceed the 300 watts. So got the fan plugged in. And again, all that's working fine. I'll kind of keep that turned away from us. But let's see what wattage we're up to now. We're at 69 watts. So again, if we got, 300 watt hours or close to it, this should last roughly 5 hours running those things. All right, and then over here, we'll turn the DC ports on next. So I've got a USB-C for the iPad mini here. We'll get that plugged in. That should have just powered on, and it did. So that's charging. I got an old school iPad over there, and those draw quite a bit of power. But we'll take that and plug that into one of the USB-A ports. And let's see if it powers on over there. Yep, it just came on. So that's charging now. We still got other open ports over there. So we could take a battery charger. Let's say that you need batteries for flashlights. So I would keep like an assortment of AA, AAAs, like lithium ion batteries. But you could put them in a battery charger. And we'll use one of the other USB ports. And you can see that powered on. There's still more open ports over here. Again, I'm not exceeding the 300 watts. Right now, with all of this stuff plugged in, I'm only at 77. Let's say that we needed more USB ports. I've used them all, let's say. What you can do is open up this little side port over here. So I know that this is a 12-volt port, and I know it's capable of 10 amps. So that's 120 watts that I can run off of that. So I could put like a 12-volt refrigerator or any other 12-volt adapter thing in that. But I could also just take another inverter, and I could plug that into here, get that plugged in, and you can see we'll get a blue light here. That means this is ready to go now. So now I have two more outlets. And again, I can't exceed 120 watts on this side, but I also have multiple more USB ports all in this little device. Thing also has that wireless charging up on top. I can't put my phone because I'm actually recording with my phone, but I'll show you some AirPods. There's a little light right here. See if I can get down here and show you guys this, but we'll set that on. Can you see the little light just came on that? So that means that we're wirelessly charging now. This is a slow charger up here for that. I think it's only like 5 watts or something like that. Again, with all of this stuff plugged in right now, I'm only at 76 or 77 watts. And if it were emergency, I would never use that bulb. That's 50 plus of the watts right now. We could put one of those in, and we'd be running less than 20 watts. And again, if it's 288 watt hours, that's going to last us a long time. So these 2.5 watt bulbs aren't nearly as bright. Like these are about 250 lumens, whereas the 60 watt ones are 780 lumens. But 250 lumens is all that you'll ever need to light up a room. Like in the dark, this would be perfect. So we'll turn that on. And again, I've used these bulbs in my house multiple times during power outages, and they work great. So we were at 76 watts just a minute ago with everything plugged in. And now we're at 27 watts just by using a lower wattage bulb. So hopefully that gave you an idea of how capable these little power stations are. To turn like the AC back off, you do have to hold that for like 3 seconds again. Now our fan should kick off, light kicked off. Our DC stuff is still on, still charging. To turn it off, you just tap the DC button. All right, I do kind of want to show you guys a close-up of the display. So the time on the left over here is like a countdown to empty, more or less. And then so is a little battery here in the middle. And then this is how many watts we have coming in and out over there. So if I turn the DC on, it's going to tell us that our USBs and our DC ports here and here are activated. And then if I turn the AC on, it'll pop up on the screen. And then the inverter just kicked on again. You'll see the fans running to cool it off. But that lets us know that basically everything's on here now. And I'll plug something in. I'll plug that lamp back in. And I put the 60 watt bulb back in it just to kind of show you guys that time, how it'll change. So the light is back on here, 60 watt bulb. And if we were running 60 watts, it's telling us that we're going to get about 3.5 hours. It's actually only pulling 51 watts. So that seems pretty accurate. And what I will do is I will use a kilowatt meter and kind of let you guys know what I actually pull out of this unit. It's supposed to be 288 watt hours. I'd like to see at least 80% of that. So whatever that figures out to be, I'll let you guys know that in a bit. But I will test this to make sure we're close to it. Also wanted to show you guys these lights. I do appreciate it when they put everything on the front. I wish that the USB and I wish everything was just on the front of it. There are these two little LEDs here on the front. You can turn each of them on separately or have them both on together. The manual says that you should be able to get into a flashing mode with those lights by holding for 3 seconds. And it doesn't matter if the light is on and I hold for 3 seconds, or if the light's off and I hold for 3 seconds, I can't get the flashing to work. So I don't know if that's like an old feature or what exactly, but honestly, I would never use that flashing anyways, but just want to let you guys know that. All right, next up, I'm going to make sure this is fully at 100%, and then I'm going to use a kilowatt meter and see what wattage I actually can draw out of it. I'm probably going to do this test 2 or 3 times. It's going to take probably 4 or 5 hours at least each time. So I'll come back with the results later on. All right, we'll get the lamp turned on here and start the test. So I've ran the capacity test twice so far, and I'm averaging 230 watt hours of the 288. So that puts us right at about 80% efficient. I am going to do the test one more time with a heavier load because possibly the inverter is running too long and you get a little bit of loss because of how long it's taken to drain it out. So I'm going to do 2 lamps on it and we'll see what we get there. I also want to check to see if it does have pass-through charging. It should, but let's make sure here. So I have the same lamp. We're going to plug it in over here to the AC side, and yeah, it does work. I just wanted to make sure of that. All right, I'm about to do the test for a 3rd time. I still got the regular lamp that I had. I brought in a work light. Those each have 60-watt bulbs in it, but clearly it was only pulling 50 some watts. And so I want to check what the voltage actually is on these outlets. I know it's a pure sine wave inverter, but it looks like it's only putting out like 106, 107 volts. Let's check the other one here too. Yeah, around 105, 106. So what that does is it automatically lowers the wattage of your device by a little bit. All right, get the lamps plugged in. I'm going to get them turned on. So there's first one on, second one's on, and then let's see what the wattage is. So yeah, it's basically putting 50 watts of those 60-watt bulbs. So we're just over 100 watts. So I'm going to unplug those. Did want to quickly show you guys this lamp plugged into the wall. And what we will get here, hopefully this shows up. Again, we're only getting 50 some watts out of the power station. And again, it's a 60-watt bulb, and there it's showing 64 watts. So the power station definitely reduces the voltage, which in turn reduces the wattage. So yeah, I ran that AC capacity test 3 times and basically averaged 230 watt hours of the available 288, or right at 80%. It's actually about industry standard. It's not bad. There's some that's a little higher, definitely some that's worse than that. I want to quickly show you guys that Bluetooth app. I know I went over it before, but I kind of want to show you what it's capable of here. So let me get the app pulled up. All right, it's showing that we have the S300 available. So we'll take that, get it connected. All right, so it's showing that we're at 100% now. It'll show if we have watts going in, watts going out. We can also turn our AC outlets on just by tapping that. See, now our AC's on. We can shut it back off from there. We can turn all of our DC ports on, like the side, the USB ports and the 12-volt port. Again, just by simply tapping that. Now our DC stuff is on. And then we can also control the LED lights. And you can have all this on at the same time if you want, but the lights, they'll both come on together here, the push of that. You know, overall, it's pretty nice having an app that can show you, especially like your time remaining, battery percentage, stuff like that. So it gives you all the basic information that you need. So just in case you happen to be looking for a power station and you're looking for this exact specific model, let me tell you a couple of things that I disliked about this. And some of it's just my opinion. So the first thing is my power station arrived completely dead, 0% charge. And if you look in the manual, it'll basically even say that like storing it with a low battery may reduce its life cycle. And that's exactly how they shipped it to me. Second thing that I kind of dislike is that as soon as you turn the inverter on, whether you have anything plugged in or not, you get this inverter fan noise. Can you hear that? And that runs constantly. I've had a lot of other power stations. Well, that'll only kick on when it kind of gets a little bit warm and it needs to cool itself off, and then the fan shuts right back off. But this thing just runs non-stop. Another thing I personally dislike, and that's kind of on the same line as noise, is that every button that you push makes a beep. On and off, if the lights, every single thing makes a beep. And I just personally wish that there was a way that you could turn that off. Like, some people might like that feature. I do not. Especially like if you were in a tent or something like that, you need to turn a light on. I don't want it to make that beep. And then speaking of those lights, my model does not do the SOS flashing. I honestly would never use it in the first place, but it's a feature it's supposed to have, and I can't get mine to do it. Another thing that I kind of had a little bit of an issue with was the wireless charging pad. My iPhone 13 Pro, has wireless charging, and I have just a little plastic thin case on it. And man, I would have to move this thing like all over, just keep pushing it all these different, and then finally I could get it to kind of connect and start charging. But it was real like funny. If I took the little case off, it seemed to work better, but it still wasn't great. So I would probably just charge my phone with the USB ports on the side. All right, a couple of little things that I personally dislike. This handle is basically impossible for you to like raise up with one hand. You almost have to get here and pop it up. There's like this rubber, see this orange piece here? And it's like pressure fit down into this thing. And listen to this. Hear that snaps in there? Well, once it does, it basically locks the thing down. So if you go to like carry the thing, you can't lift that up. You have to use two hands and like pry. I almost wish that this area of the handle right here, they made a little cutout so that when you grabbed here, you had something that you could get your fingers on to lift this up, because as it is, you can't. Now with time, this will probably get easier. This rubber will wear down a little bit, but as it is right now, that thing is so stiff, it's really hard to lift up out of there. And probably my last complaint is that they only include the wall charging cable. I know they're not going to include a solar panel and stuff like that, but they should include the 12-volt like car charging cable. It's just my opinion on it. All right, now that we have my complaints out of the way, there's a lot of things to really like about this little power station though. I mean, it's so compact, it's so lightweight. You can charge it multiple ways at the same time. So you can charge, I think, up to like 140 watts, which would charge this thing in less than 2 hours. I was only charging at 120 something because I was using the wall and then the USB-C. But if you use the solar and then the wall combined, you can get the 140. The solar is like capable of 80 watts and then 60 out of the wall. It's a pretty basic display, but I like how it shows your input wattage, your output wattage, how it shows like your time remaining. I like that the thing has pass-through charging. It's 2023, everything should have it, but there are still power stations that don't. So I'm recording this video September 16th, but it probably won't get posted for another couple of weeks. I did do a post on YouTube letting everybody know that this power station was on sale for $120. And I just checked today, and it still is that price, which is an incredible, amazing price on this thing. Yeah, you do the math on that, 120 bucks for a 288 watt hour power station. It's right around 41 cents or so a watt hour, which is probably the lowest that I've ever seen a power station, honestly. So I'm sure that 120 price is not going to last on it, but I will leave an Amazon link down in the video description for you. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below as well. And that's going to be it on this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.